where is he leading us?
Rivendell, Master Gamgee. To the House of Elrond.
Did you hear that? Rivendell. We're going to see the elves.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Second Age Show, and today we have quite a fun episode, and it's going to be a lot about the elves, so I think that's going to get some people quite excited. I'm sure Nikki, for example, who also has her lovely elf cosplay ears on right now. So first of all, welcome.
Thank you, my Govanen.
Great to have you here as always. And joining her as well today is V, who's also a very big ELROND fan, which will be quite linked to today's video.
Hello everyone, very excited to hear the news.
Indeed. And last but not least, as always, we have Strider. Hello, friend.
Hello. I'm very happy about this one, so can't wait to delve right into it.
So I'll be here to explain the first scoop and then give the context for that. Then I'll be gone for the rest of the video. I'll leave it to you three to discuss it all. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe as well to stay up to date with all scoops and everything. And I think without further ado, you guys ready?
Let's go
then. Let's go. So the first scoop of today is that Rivendell / Imladris is a location and term internally listed in the production of The Rings of Power Season 2. Though this production listing can range from just a dialogue mention of the location, a teaser / Easter egg, or seeing the location itself on screen. So we don't have context on how Rivendell is going to fit in Season 2, whether it just, Elrond, leading elves into Fossum saying, oh, we'll call this Rivendell, or whether it'll be couple of years later, or near maybe end of episode 8, fast forward in time, then you see Rivendell, or it can be, just a little mention early in the season, if I had a place, I'd call it Imladris, something like that. But we know that internally in the production for Season 2, Rivendell does have is located and actually does have a code name, which I'll let you three discuss it. I'll actually find the code name for Rivendell. So yeah, Strider, I guess I'll leave it to you first and then let the others two discuss this. Quite exciting.
Yeah, so we got some confirmation of at least some mention or some hint of Rivendell. So as Harry kind of mentioned, it might be anything between a name drop, or maybe there's something more specific happening, or maybe we even see some foundations being built and so on. But yeah, ladies, how do you react to this? How do you react to Rivendell? Nikki, let's start with you.
Well, I don't know. It's I mean, any Elven location is awesome. Then again, I'm not really surprised, considering that it's kind of due, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
But with this early is the interesting thing, because if we are going to see the downfall of Eregion with Rivendell's foundation,
that's what that's what I was wondering about. I was like, how does this really fit into the whole storyline, because it's not really canon this early unless they fast forward or somehow speed work their way through what happens before. So I don't know. It could be like you said, that it's just if I had a place, I'd call it Imladris, whatever. But I don't know. It's hard to picture.
Well, at least it would kind of give an idea of where everyone's storyline's going from Season 2.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's possible that it will just be kind of like a post-credits epilogue type of scene, not an actual post-credits scene, but it might be somewhere, as one of those scenes where we see several storylines, how they're kind of having their epilogue for Season 2.
Yeah,
and
like the
then
final
maybe
season of the season. Yeah.
yeah, like a final scene of the season. Maybe something like that. What do you think?
I have this whole like clip in my head playing of my ideal closing for season 2 based on that information.
All right.
Like as Nikki said, like it seems very early to see ELROND and to see it built, but it's not early enough to see it mentioned where they will go after the sacking of Eregion, I think. So like what I have in mind, like from when this drop is like we are in the end of the last episode for season 2. Everyone is exhausted from battle. Very bad things have happened, and a lot of elves have scattered away and they don't know where to go. And Elrond is like, I've heard of this place, so let's head that way. And we may find something and somewhere to get shelter. And then we get to a place like that they can kind of like camp and stay there for a bit. And then because of all the chaos in season 3, we see like in the beginning how the place has progressed and everything. So I don't know, like I've made this whole sequence. I think I'm getting my hopes up for what I want to see from ELROND because I'm really excited to see that location. I mean, I have it on my Twitter, like Elrond's library location. So I really want to like see it. I'm really expecting to see it in the series, and I'm really excited to at least have it name dropped in season 2. So it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think it makes sense that it will be something. I think there's a strong chance that you might get this type of an ending because what happens, like Rivendell is founded as a refuge for the elves, but also like for any good-natured person, but basically for the elves after the cycle of Eregion, because after the cycle of Eregion, Sauron with his forces basically overruns Eriador, that whole area between the sea and the Misty Mountains. So that's when ELROND is founded. So I mean, that's exactly what you might get actually. And I think that we are all kind of now probably imagining that type of like a sort of a teasing epilogue scene, and maybe ELROND or Rivendell will be being built during the third season, perhaps, or maybe there's a time jump between the second and third season. And maybe in the third season we can already see it kind of taking shape.
I feel like if they were to end with like the discovery of Rivendell or the like this shall be called ELROND vibe, then it's basically exactly the same as the ending for season 1, with Sauron looking at Mordor and being like, "This is my home." I'm like, oh, are they gonna do that? That's very unoriginal if they do that twice. But
well,
you know,
for context, well, not context, but I just remembered this. We got a few months ago set photos of a variety of elves spotted during filming of The Rings of Power season 2. So many different costumes seem to be just walking through a forest. So maybe are we seeing here the elves after the sack of Eregion? Because the interesting thing is, it seems like these elves haven't seen battle, or at least not yet. So maybe this is the fault. Maybe everyone's force arrives too late for Eregion and they have to turn away, and that's why they're all still, looking all, steady and on their horses and not really looking like they've been in battle. So that's one potential theory of interesting thing to add.
But don't we have from scoops that Elrond is taking place in battle, like in Eregion, or at least in the 2 episodes of battle? I think we have some scoops that he's in armor and fighting and engaging in battle with Gil-galad, etc. So I don't know. Maybe another thought that I had, which could be a bit breaking canon or whatnot. Maybe they have Rivendell is close enough to also be like a sort of military camp for the elves. I don't remember on the map.
No, it's quite far. It's quite far.
It's
Yeah.
far. Okay. Then not. This theory is out of the box.
That's still fair. And I'd also like to also add that the code name for Rivendell / Imladris is Gildan, Gildan. So it's added that little for people who like to keep track of that stuff. That's the code
Gildan.
name. Yeah, Gildan. Gildor.
All right.
But yeah. So yeah, I think I'll say goodbye now and you guys can continue.
Bye.
Bye.
Miss you already.
Yeah. I think Nikki, what you said, that they might be repeating themselves in like as a reference to Sauron going into Mordor. I think that's quite possible. I think there's maybe some approach that they can take that's maybe different towards it. Maybe we can get like a proper scene, of maybe people, we see them as they run perhaps, and then maybe there's like a proper scene or even two scenes of them arriving somewhere, as they escape, they keep moving. Maybe there's like a, some sequence of scenes like that where maybe they do get to this valley and then they actually stumble upon it because it's a hidden valley. I mean, I agree. They might go for this cheesy kind of like a mirroring thing to the first season, which I agree. I don't think that would be really cool or original or particularly fun. But maybe we can get a cooler version of that, or like some way more improved version of that.
Yeah, it does work as a cliffhanger or like continuation for season 3, but it's just like if that's, I don't know, it just seems boring to do it twice. Even though that's the only way I can imagine seeing Rivendell is towards the end of season 2, because I want to see all of what happens in between before Rivendell. And I feel like there's still a lot of ground to cover there that I would like to see. So I hope they don't run.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always the fear of some of our favorite bits that we're looking forward towards, that they will be rushed in some way. But I guess we'll have to wait to see. Yeah?
Like, the main difference, though, it will be like if they don't actually create it, if they just step in there, because Mordor was created, like we saw the Mount Doom eruption and then everything turning into ashes and basically the orcs settling down and this weird kind of PowerPoint looking change of name. So, I mean,
that was awful.
Different. Essentially, it will be kind of the same because we are moving to a new, I guess we are not exactly like, we are actually seeing a new location because we had seen the Southlands and we knew the Southlands before and the Southlands afterwards. But there, we haven't been introduced, I think, and I don't think we will introduce to Imladris as something different before Elrond comes and changes the scenery and makes the refuge there. Because I don't think it was occupied. So basically, if they can just, like, some refugees go there and find it with Elrond as their leader, I don't think it will be such a repeat of the Mordor thing. Also, I would love, like, for the beginning of season 3 to just, like, see the construction of Rivendell bit by bit and, like, how they make the community essentially and how they decided how it will be made and built and what they need basically and how they started. I think
it will be interesting to see. Hopefully we get like a new approach towards this at least. But speaking of new stuff in season 2, we have another bit of news. Oliver Alvin Wilson will play an elf codenamed Tarda in the Rings of Power season 2. He has shared scenes with Morfydd Clark, Caleb Lynch, Selena Law, and Charles Edwards. So, okay, we have a photo here. So he will apparently be playing an elf, and he will be sharing some pretty big. He'll be sharing scenes with some pretty big names here. So, Nikki, what do you deduce from this?
I have no idea. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, the fact, so we can see here that he will share the scene basically with Caleb Lynch, Morphy Clark, and Charles Edwards, and Selina Lowe. So I guess it's reasonable to conclude that he will be there in a region.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah. But what
yeah.
kind of character? Who is he?
Yeah. I mean, I guess all we can do is basically speculate based on the characters he's sharing the scene with. So, and these are all elves, so there's no mention of orcs, which doesn't have to mean that he doesn't also maybe fight against orcs or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. V, do you maybe have some interesting theory or something that you can just pop out?
The only thing I can add is I like to Google things, so I Google Tarda.
Yeah.
And it's basically the time of day between afternoon and early evening, or noon and dusk. It translates to. So it's a word that exists. I don't know what we can do with that information, and if we can look at canon character elves and search for who that description may be. Maybe the code name isn't even relevant to the actual word.
Mm-hmm.
It could be Celeborn's friend. Like, maybe they're stuck.
Yeah.
Maybe he somehow rescues him, or they escape somehow and they end up there together somehow. Maybe he is part of the same regiment and they arrive and they tell their story, and yeah, I don't know, maybe there's like a friendship there. I don't feel like he would be canon.
Yeah, I mean, he could just be an elf, that's around, and that's all right. Yeah. All right, that's probably as good of a guess we can get here. That's actually a pretty good one. Yeah, maybe they were captured, or whatever happened to Celeborn. Maybe they were captured or whatever together, and then we just see them. When we discover Celeborn, we also discover this guy. Another option is that he is maybe one of the elves of a region. That's I guess as well one of the other likelier options. But
we would like to see more, like, because Eregion felt so empty. Apart from the lead actors, it would be nice to see more inhabitants in general. Like, even people that have scenes with the main characters don't have to be like important to the plot as much as, they're just there, because there were a lot of people in the Southlands and Eregion kind of looked empty. And we know there are elves living there, and quite a lot of them too. So it would be nice. It doesn't have to be a character that is a major character, even though he has scenes with some of the lead characters. But maybe he's like a supporting one. Yeah,
and we did have some names in season 1 that we actually expected when we saw them being cast, like Simon Merrills. If I'm pronouncing that right, we were like, okay, this guy looks like Círdan. Maybe he's like this very, or if not Círdan, maybe he's like this very important elf. And he was there in like 2.5 episodes at best, and he was killed, and he had like 5 scenes altogether, maybe. So yeah, I mean, I think it's quite possible, especially because this is.
Or maybe he's Haldir. Has he been cast yet? Do we know? Is he
Haldir? I don't know if we're gonna see him in I guess.
Early?
What?
I mean, couldn't we see him in Lorien, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
We could. The thing with him is he's not some particularly important elf in a sense that he's like some high-ranking elf or something. He happens to be one of the 3 soldiers that Fellowship interacts with in the book as they go through Lothlorien. But I mean, regardless of whether this is or isn't that character, I think we could see Haldir pop up at one of the later seasons. But I think we can also maybe share here the next bit of news. So the next exclusive for the evening is Elven soldiers in battle or in army formation, 7 with times 3 wide, will march in London in episode 4 of the Rings of Power season 2. So I guess what's happening here is the army is leaving London. So we are looking forward to seeing some cool Elven armies, and any idea where they will be going? And is this, the fact that it's episode 4, does that maybe ring some bells? Does that point you towards some conclusions?
Okay, so episode 4 is in the middle of the season, and I think it will be where the elves will be preparing for battle. Also, Control is informing us that it means 3 rows of 7 elves, like how they will march together. I don't know how many rows they will, like how many army formations there will be, but yeah, that's the explanation given. Yeah, I think episode 4 will be like the anticipation for battle and how they will build up to that, and we will get, I think what would make sense is to get like a sort of a chessboard, like to see where each army is going and how far away they are from each other, because we have a 2 episode battles in a 2 episodes battle in the end, so we need to know where every player is in the map. So maybe they're trying to do that and like give us an idea of how far away the elves are from each other, like how they have placed their armies, because I think they will get informed of what is happening in the Southlands, and like they will try to do something with that. So
they're not marching to a region, are they? Is that where they're going?
I mean, I think that's the likeliest option.
Yeah,
I would say so.
Because
but
I picture the setup would be like we're catching up with everyone. There's the story of Isildur and how he, by a miracle, surprise, survived. And there's all the other storylines, and they're setting up the chess pieces, like you said. And then shit goes down, and then we see people moving, and then we see the battle towards the end would be like maybe episode 6 or 7, because we get 8 episodes in this one too, right? And then episode 8 would be like wrapping things up and then leaving a cliffhanger somewhere.
Yeah, I think we have heard that the last 2 episodes will actually be the battle, but it might be that basically we have the build-up, then the before episode 7 is the actual battle, and then maybe the beginning of episode 8 is actually just like wrapping up the battle and all that, and then the rest of it is epilogue. So it could be like that. I think I hope that one of the biggest issues with season 1 was that that Middle Earth felt like a very small place. We didn't actually have a lot of scenes that gave us the sense of distance that characters are traveling across. So I'm hoping that I don't think it's maybe a bit early in episode 4 already that the armies are going towards Eregion, but whatever. It
says it marches in Lindon though. Like
they're going to be marching far.
But I think this might be like we will see them marching in Lindon and then out of Lindon.
Yeah.
Like I think the scene will be as the army is going out of Lindon towards Eregion.
Yeah.
So
could it possibly be the armies returning back from their stations because the days of peace have started? Because like where we leave the Southlands in season 1, the elves haven't gotten back yet from all their posts.
Yes, but they do know now that orcs are back.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be maybe from some other places they are coming back. It could be.
That's what I mean. Like they're going back in Lindon in order like to see how much army they have, and maybe they're coming from other parts that they don't have orc problems, and then they are will try to send them like in Southlands, for example, because also they have to get like the information that the Southlands is under Sauron, I guess, somehow.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to say. Yeah, I wanted to say that I'm hoping that we will. Let's assume for a second that this is the army that's actually marching towards Eregion. I hope that we will see this army traveling, or at least it gives me hope that if we see them marching out of Linden at the end of, let's say, end of season of episode 4, that they only show up in episode 7 when the battle is on, which would then give this realistic feeling of, hey, this army, because it's an army, armies cannot really travel as fast as 5 people or horses. This army took some time to get all the way across Eregion Eriador to Eregion. So I'm hoping that maybe if this is the case, I think at least it's a hopeful little thing that we will get to feel the distance of Middle Earth again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But regarding this army, the final bit of news for tonight is that the Elven battle armor in season 2 is full silver armor with massive shields with the silver helmet, which has a long crest on its top. Most Elven soldiers have long hair, and the horses are also padded in the similar silver color armor. And we have a very cool surprise, which is going to pop out any second now on the screen. We have a photo.
Oh, wow. I'm getting a prologue in Lord of the Rings vibes.
Yeah.
That's cool. It looks better than the Numenor armor.
Numenorian armor, yeah.
At least that's promising.
It looks like kind of Celeborn's armor in that fan art that he has. That famous fan art with I think the shield looks a lot of like that. I don't know, like it's that one that he gets out of the sea with the sword and the shield in front of him. Reminds me a lot of that. And
you're
also,
talking about Thor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good fan art. Look at that.
I didn't mean this fan art specifically, but yeah, it's a good fan art.
Yeah, I mean, I think at least we can agree with Nick with what Nikki says. It looks pretty good, and that looks much better than the Numenorian armor in season 1. I mean, it looks, and it's not even a great quality photo, though it's, it still shows everything pretty nicely. But even on this type of not high resolution photo, it looks pretty good. Like, I don't know how many people watching this have seen the some of the leaked photos and videos from the filming of House of the Dragon season 2, but armor there has been praised far and wide because it looks really, really good. And it's cool to see that Rings of Power will hopefully be matching that in season 2.
Yeah, that's exciting. It looks good. It looks like a gray day though, but it looks cool.
Yeah. Also, apparently, the wig shortage doesn't exist anymore, and we got our dear elves some wigs, even the extras.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would like to add a lot of the extras in season 2 have long hair.
The wig problem is sorted out. Yeah.
So then, Nikki, thank you very much for joining us. Always a pleasure, especially when there's elf talks to be had.
Namari.
And I knew it the moment I read the name. I was like, she's gonna Google either the actor or the name, and you did. So as Viking says, Wikipedia.
I googled both the actor to remember who he was, because I don't remember all the names that they were like casted. And then the one worth mentioning, of course, was the Tarda thing. But yeah, I love the power of Google, and it was my pleasure to provide you with it again.
Pleasure was ours. So. All right, and thank you very much to Harry behind the scenes and tuning in, and always helping up with his comments, and of course the tech expertise behind the screen. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Don't forget, we will have an AMA soon after this episode airs, so tune in there. follow us on Twitter, like and subscribe. We'll also share all of our scoops on Twitter, and there's always some interesting discussion happening there. So, and also of course on our Discord. So please join us and follow for more. And thank you very much, and see you soon. Cheers.